Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Suzuka Circuit, Japan's jewel of motorsport. Built in 1962 by Honda, it's one of the few tracks in the world that's shaped like a figure eight, and one of the most technical layouts in racing. This 5.8 kilometre full course is a true driver's track. Fast flowing and brutally unforgiving. It rewards precision, but punishes even the smallest of mistakes. As we see how they lined up after qualifying. Let's get this underway. We've got S7R Mazda with a blistering 159.8. Now that's flying, followed by Fletcher with a 2-minute flat, Spark in third, Juzzy taking fourth, Hammer in fifth place, Big Easy in 6th, Andrew HRT in 7th, and Legendary Berry taking 8th. We've got Rick in the Mercedes with his 203. Brilliant time. That's 9th place for him. And Lardell rounding out our grid today in 10th place. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic race. Thank you again to our sponsors at So What Electrical. And guess what? We've got something exciting for you. We have now got telemetry on the race. Thank you to So What as we get ready to go green light racing. Mazda starting on pole and they're away. Okay. Mazda, good launch. Fletcher, kind of got that Nissan a little bit bogged down. He's coming under fire. We've got a couple of cars moving up through the grid. Okay, as they make their way around the first corner, even 3 wide at one point there. All right, here we go. Andrew HRT making his way around the outside. Not quite able to... Oh, no, he done. He has got the move done over the top of Rick. Rick up in the 10th. Great start from him. As we jump back to our race leader, Mazda. Fletcher, not too far behind. He looked a little bogged down off the start, but he's getting that car moving. Also, you can see that he started on the racing hards. So a little bit of a different strategy from himself. He's going to have to really keep that car moving to hold off Juzzy on the mediums. Hammer in 4th place, making his way around in the Aston Martin. Been a good drive off the start line, keeping it nice and tidy as the cars are very close together as we continue down through the grid. We've got Spark in 5th place. We've got Big Easy in 6th. Whoa, Big Easy really getting up behind the back of Spark there in that corner. Have a much faster run. Liddell's up into 7th from last, so he's a fantastic start. Andrew HRT down into 9th. Legendary Berry in 10th place. And we've got Rick now dropping down to 11th off the start. So it's been an active first couple of corners in this 50-minute enduro race. We're going to see lots of action as this race continues to unfold. As we jump back to our race leader, making his way down the main straight, we can see that gap opening up already, as we would expect after seeing a blistering qualifying time, the 159.8. Now that Mercedes is absolutely moving. I don't know what they feed him at sector 7, but that guy is quick. Fletcher having a good run on the hard so far, up in 2nd still. As we continue down through the grid through this corner, all the cars moving through in a bit of a train. Rudzy in 8th place, really hanging on to the back of Liddell. Andrew HRT trying not to let them get too far away. Legendary Berry in 10th across the line, and then we've got Rick rounding out our order, and it's only lap 2. We're only 2 minutes into this race so far, and look at our race leader already with a massive gap over 2nd. Of course, he's opted to start on the race mediums, and we've got Fletch on the hards, having a really good run so far. Doesn't look to be slowing him down at all. Juzzy not really making much ground on him, even though he is on the mediums himself. A little bit of a battle going on here throughout the grid. We've got Hammer coming under fire now from Spark. Spark really pushing that Lexus onto the back of the Aston Martin. Takes a very early entry into that corner, getting a really good run. I'm going to see a bit of slipstreaming coming up through here, through multiple cars, but look at this, look how close it is. Big Easy, Liddell. Oh, and we've seen Rudzy make the move up the inside of Liddell. He's got the car a bit sideways, but hang on, he's going to also take 6th. So, wow, Rudzy with a move. Gets 2 positions in one corner, has the back end kick out just ever so slightly, but he's managed to get it done. He's out in front. Talk about left foot racing. That is putting the foot down. Liddell in the Peugeot, sitting right behind Big Easy. Bit of a train of cars there, making their way down the straight. Andrew HRT behind in 9th. Rick not too far behind the action, but something's happened to Legendary Berry. He's dropped all the way back to 11th. He's looking very slow out of that corner. He doesn't have any damage, so we'll just have to wait and see what's happened with him. SRT Madstar making his way around the last couple of turns as we jump on board. Crikey, as we see him using all the track, absolutely flying as we're on board here with Mazda. This looks like it might even be a bit of a hot lap. We'll have to stay on board and watch as we get to the end of this lap, listening to that Mercedes just absolutely raw, and he is just barely purple. We'll have to wait and see if he can hold this time. Last couple of corners here to get himself through. Just got to navigate these with some precision and speed, and he's going to set a new fastest lap by the looks of things as he holds it nice and close to the right hand wall there, and across the line with a 202.1 early in the race on those race mediums, absolutely flying our race leader out in front. Fletcher across the line in second place with a 205, so that's how much speed difference there is between the two. Of course, Fletcher is on the racing hards compared to Juzzy on the mediums, but we can see that one of our magnet men in the Ferrari there not really able to keep up with Fletcher at the moment, even though he's on the mediums versus the hards. As you continue down through the grid, we've got Spark, who's managed to save a little bit more fuel than Juzzy so far, just sitting in that slipstream, saving ever so slightly. Ooh, just running it a little bit wide. You'll see the dust kick up there in the background. Continue down the grid, we've got Hammer in the Aston, having a good run, hanging onto that slipstream behind Spark. He doesn't want to lose out on that action as he is about almost 300 up, so it's 2.83, sorry, 0.283. And as we continue down through the grid, we've got Rudzy, who made a really good move, jumped 2 cars in the previous lap. Liddell up in 7th. Remember, he started last on the grid, so he's having a fantastic drive in that little Peugeot. Oh, as he runs it a bit wide, he's putting himself almost into position now to be attacked by Andrew HRT, as we have this beautiful side shot here of all the cars making their way around the track. We'll jump down through. We've got Andrew HRT in 8th, chasing down Liddell. Really pushing that Aston at the moment. See those brake discs glowing. Oh, as he gets really close, he's had to back out and have a second guess. He would have loved to have had a good run there, but it just wasn't on, so he's backed out. He's going to follow that slipstream through. Rick's up into 9th place. He's having a good run in his Merc as well. Flying down that back straight. That Mercedes has got some really good top end. Big Easy down into the 10th. Something's happened to him. He's dropped down through the grid as well. No damage that we can see. Maybe just the racing hards have just slowed him down ever so slightly. And Legendary Berry, of course, we saw drop down early, so we're not really sure what happened. As we jump back to our race leader, S7R Mazda, Sector 7 Racing. Like we said earlier, don't know what they feed him, but absolutely look at him go. What a freak. This guy is quick. There's been a bit of rumbling in the paddock that we've seen in the SSR lobbies there, saying that he should be in Div 0 lobby all on his own because he's just that good. But we've got some drivers that are going to do their absolute best to put the pressure on, as we see Fletcher having a fantastic run on those race hards so far, because there's going to be a lot of strategy that comes into this race, and he's well out in front now in second place, even though he's running on the hards. We've got some cars behind him on the mediums. He's having a great run. So as he can keep this car neat, tidy and clean, he's going to have a very good pit stop strategy based on what we can see so far. He's well out in front. Once he gets onto the mediums, he's going to be faster again. So as we continue down through the grid, Spark in third on those race mediums might be looking to conserve some fuel. Maybe that's why he's sitting back. But the cars behind him, they'll be saving more, sitting in that slipstream, saving just a little bit more fuel. Okay, as we make our way around to the big straight, Hammer in the Aston Martin trying his best to chase down Spark. We've got Juzzy right behind him, one of the naked men in the Ferrari. Three very different cars, but they're very close together as we continue on our way down the big straight. Absolutely flat out. And Rudzy, he's having a good race. He's made a couple of positions. Nissan is absolutely cruising down the back straight. He's 2 seconds up on his best lap so far. We're only at lap 5. Oh, he's run the car right up to the limit there. He hasn't got himself a penalty. You've got to take those wheels over the side of the green to get that. And he's used all of the available track. I think he might have had a bit of a brown pants moment as Liddell now looks to try and make up some ground. Andrew HRT followed by Rick in 9th place. We're only 10 minutes into this event. Still 40 minutes to go. We continue down through our grid. Legendary Berry rounding out the order so far at lap 6. Plenty of strategy to come into play. So we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds. And back to our race leader, who is absolutely flying. Really got this car moving. He's on the race mediums and he's done a 201.5. So we jump on board with Fletcher, the man trying to chase him down right now. He's on the race hards and he's having an absolutely fantastic drive at the moment. Just have to wait to see how long he can maintain this kind of speed on those race hards. As we see Spark now starting to make some progress on catching him. He's now doing a 203. Hear that Lexus absolutely revving. Sounds fantastic. You can see a bit of short shifting there from Spark, so he's doing a bit of fuel conserve. Where the man behind him, Hammer, absolutely not. Oh no, he's run it. He's running a bit wide. Let's jump back to Rudsey in the passenger cam and see how much ground he can make up. Coming down onto the back straight now. Hammer's lost a little bit of time, but not enough to hinder him down that back straight. Rudsey's got this Nissan absolutely moving as we hit 245 kilometres just before the turning point there. Looks like he's grabbed a little bit of brake, shaved up a bit of speed. Right down now in the first gear, into the last couple of corners. We can see, look at how much ground he's made up on the back of Hammer. As we continue down through the grid, we've got Juzzy in 6th place. He's making his way across the line, revving the absolute guts out of that Ferrari. Doesn't it sound absolutely spectacular? One of our magnet men, Liddell, in the Peugeot, followed by Andrew HRT in the Aston, racing for Ned Racing, making his way around a couple of corners there. We've got Rick behind him and Legendary Berry in 10th. And it looks like we have the first of our pitters already. So on the racing hards, he's managed to use just a little bit less than half a tank of fuel. He's going to swap those out. We'll see if he opts to go to the mandatory mediums or whether he's going to do a stint on softs. He's in quite early. So half a tank of fuel on the hards. He's on an alternate strategy to everyone else on the track. Most of these drivers will be running that tank right to the end to try and do a one-stop. So we'll wait to see what he comes out on. Yes, it is the race mediums. So an alternate strategy there for Big Easy. Be interesting to see where that puts him overall, because this race is a long one and that fuel time is going to make a huge difference. As we see here, I'm going to have to fill half a tank. So similar fuel to our race leader Mazda at the moment now, cracking around on lap 7. We continue down the grid. Fletcher making his way onto the big straight. So as we saw Mazda ending the big straight, we've seen Fletcher entering it. So that's how much of a gap there is between first and second. And Spark chasing him down as best he can on those race mediums. We've seen Fletcher sort of running away with it, but that gap's starting to shrink again now that Spark's got those tyres up to temperature on the mediums. We see a couple of cars coming through the chicane here. So Spark followed by Hammer, followed by Rudzy, followed by Judds, and then we've got Liddell in 7th place, followed by Andrew HRT in 8th as they make their way through the last couple of chicanes. On the end of lap 7, we've got Rick, followed by Legendary Berry, and then of course we have Mr. Big Easy, who has done a pit. There's going to be a monumental gap because of the amount of time that it takes to put fuel in these cars. It's a very slow refuel rate. So this strategy is put it all to the wall. He's going to have to really hope that it pays off for him. Clearly on a 2-stopper. As we jump back to our race leader, S7R Mazda from Sector 7 Racing, absolutely flying out in front. Still a fair bit of fuel. We'll see him more than likely just do a 1-stopper here. The 25-minute mark is when we expect to see most of these cars starting to come into the pits. That's the halfway mark in this 50-minute enduro race here at Suzuka. We started at sunset. We can see that the lights are on for most of these cars now as it's starting to darken up. We've got another beautiful shot there. Ruds is absolutely blowing those brake discs. He makes the move up the inside of Hammer. We stay with Fletcher here in second, having a great run in that Nissan. Sparks in 3rd, not too far behind. Really lighting up those brake discs, getting a real good angle because you want to have a fast run down the main straight. So you've got to get that angle right so that you can absolutely launch the car. We've got Rudzy, who made the move on Hammer just a couple of corners ago. We did see it, really lit up those brakes and made himself jump that position in the corner. Fantastic move, very clean racing. Absolutely flying through the tail end of it. And we've got Hammer, so also on the mediums, both on the mediums, and just a better drive line there. And Rudzy seems to be really actually pulling away. As we continue down through the grid, we've got Juzzy in 7th, followed by Andrew HRT, both on mediums. And we've got Liddell not too far behind the Andrew HRT, as we see him across the line with a 205. What's happened to Liddell there? That previous lap was a 210, so he might have had a bit of an incident. We continue down the grid. Rick in 9th, Legendary Berry 10th, Mad Mower Motorsport, that Beamer. We'll wait and see what happens with them as they continue this race. Our race leader now well out in front, completely out in the clear. I'd almost expect to see when, by the time he gets to the pit stop, he might even stay in front. We'll have to wait and see. It is a very long time on fuel. Oh no, it's Fletch! Fletcher's just put a little bit too much of the go-go pedal. He's absolutely sent that Nissan sideways. He's off into the dirt, waiting for a clear bit of track to jump back on. As we jump down to Juzzy now, who's coming right up behind him. He's managed to get that car moving again. But now he's going to be under a lot of attack. Oh, as we see Juzzy pull out of that corner there, not able to get up the inside there. Two very different lines. As we see now, Fletcher starting that attack all over again. He's put in a lot of hard work on those racing hards, and unfortunately he's had a bit of a moment, had a spin. As we continue down the grid, Juzzy in 6th, right behind him, Andrew HRT looking to get on the action. Liddell in 8th, slowly dropping off the pace on those race hards, but we'll see what happens when it all comes to the pits, because all these cars will swap the tyres between the mandatory race hards and mediums, so grid speed might flip. As we continue down, we had Rick in 9th, Legendary Berry in 10th place as he runs it wide. See the flame shooting out of that beamer. He's done well to save that and not go off any wider. Big Easy, he's got a lot of ground to make up. As we jump back to our race leader, Mazda, he's got a lot of ground in front of him. Wow. But he can't be compliant as we see Spark now up in his 2nd place. What's happened to Fletcher? Oh, of course, that's right. He spun the lap before. Sorry, completely forgot. As now we've got a new 2nd place. Spark having a good run. He's followed very closely there by Rudzy and Hammer. So the pressure's on for him. He doesn't need any mistakes in his race at the moment. Hammer moving the Aston Martin around in 4th place. On the race mediums, he's still got just over a quarter of a tank of fuel. That should see him to the halfway mark as we continue down the grid. Fletcher, he's right on the quarter mark on those racing hards. Obviously having that spin, very lucky not to give himself any damage. As we continue down the grid, Andrew HRT just under the quarter mark of fuel. So as you can see, a couple of different race strategies on how much fuel these guys are saving. Liddell not saving much at all in the Peugeot. And as we continue down, Juzzy having a good run in the Ferrari, just over a quarter of a tank of fuel too. As we start getting close to where we'd expect to see these cars pitting at the 25-minute mark, that's halfway through the race. That way you can do 1 compound of hards, 1 compound of mediums quite comfortably. I will expect to see probably a couple of guys maybe do a bit of a short stint on the hards and possibly even use the softs for a 2-stop strategy. As we continue down our grid, Spark now, looks like Rudzy is making some ground on him. Well, there we go. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen, the race is on. As Rudzy's pushing that Nissan as fast as he can. Look at the flame shooting out, wow. Okay, Hammer now trying to chase down Rudzy. Fletcher, he's got ground to make up. He was having a fantastic race until he had a little bit of a moment there. Got that car very sideways. Very clean re-entry, waiting for the cars to pass first. So we'll continue with this battle and see where he ends up. He's having a great stint on the hards. He's still got a fair bit of fuel. Andrew HRT in 6th, not too far behind, looking to make any opportunity work for him. Liddell in 7th across the line. Still on the race hards himself too, but his fuel now has just hit the red marker. So we'll probably see him in the next couple of laps. So it'll be just before the halfway mark that I believe we'll see that little Peugeot come in. Absolutely flying. Okay, Juzzy in 8th. Those mediums hardly any wear on them. Some very good car control from him. Rick now all over the back of him. He's just sitting under a quarter of a tank too. So the Mercedes quite good on fuel, even though it's got a very strong drive down the straight. Legendary Berry, we can see, has used a fair bit more in that beamer. And Big Easy, of course, the first of our fitters, plenty of fuel, but on an alternate strategy, definitely a 2-stopper for him. We'll have to wait and see if he can catch up any of the cars in front. Mazda having a fantastic run. We're on lap 11. We're 22 minutes in to the 50-minute enduro race. So we continue down the grid. Spark now coming under all sorts of pressure from Rudzy. Rudzy though, very low fuel. He's not going to be able to keep challenging and pushing like this. He's going to run out. Where Spark, as we can see there, a fair bit more fuel, so a bit more conservative for Spark. Just over a quarter of a tank still, so he's doing a fantastic job on saving fuel up in 2nd. Rudzy really pushing that car to try and keep up and trying to make a move, but I would expect to see Rudzy possibly in this lap, if not the next lap, with that fuel as low as it is. And there it is. Okay, we've called it. So Rudzy now into the pits as we continue down the grid. We've got Hammer in 4th place. He'll go past. Then we've got Fletch. He's also coming in. Okay, so both Ruds and Fletch into the pits. Fletch, considerably more fuel than Rudzy. So we see Rudzy now in the team, ripping those tyres off the Leadfoot Racing Team car in that beautiful Nissan. We see Liddell also making his way into the pits as well. And here we go. Here's the tyres coming off Fletcher's car. He's going to be jumping on to the mediums, is my best guess. And there's Liddell in 8th place at the moment. Of course, the pits are a little bit jumbled forwards and backwards based on position, so we will wait and see as they come out. Rudsley will definitely come out first, followed by Fletch. And now Legendary Berry also in. Okay, so a few cars in now, a little bit just before half time. And Fletch now making his way out, swapping off the hards and onto the mediums. And here comes Big Easy. Alternate strategy, so he's looking to jump a few people that are going to be jumping in at half time. So the 25-minute mark, we're very close to it. It'll be at the end of this lap as the official half-time sort of moment of this, where we will see a lot of cars coming in. Whoa, Fletcher under a bit of a pressure from Big Easy with those cold tyres. Now Big Easy pushing this car. His mediums are warm. He's only got just a little bit more than half a tank of fuel, so he's a lot lighter. So between the two Nissans here, you'd expect to see Big Easy really applying a lot of pressure on the back of Fletch. He's going to need to get past him to make the most out of the tank that he's got at the moment. But of course, Fletcher is also on the mediums now with a full tank of fuel. So he's going to be moving pretty well once those tyres warm up. Of course, Big Easy being ever so slightly lighter. We see Liddell now out of the pits, full tank of fuel. He's on the mediums. Legendary Berry, full tank of fuel on the mediums also. Our race leader still out there, still pushing. He's on the mediums. Not even quite half wear on those fronts at the moment, so a very good drive from himself. As we continue down the grid, we've got Spark in second. He's done a fantastic job of conserving fuel. Hammer into the red. We'll only see one more lap from him before he's in the pits for sure. We can see Andrew HRT, he's making his way down pit lane now. Only 2% fuel remaining for him, so he's used a little bit more than the driver ahead. Rick now making his way up into 5th place. This is a fantastic drive from him. Right onto the back of Juzzy. Of course, he's only going to see one more lap before he's in the pits himself. Juzzy, probably not too far behind him. He might get 2 laps out of that Ferrari if he can hold it. Boy, he's having a great battle there. We see Rick get a little bit squirrely, but he's held it. Hasn't lost it. As we continue down the grid, we've got Rudsey in 6th. He's on a full tank of fuel on the hards. He might see himself to the end now, because we're just past the halfway move. We've got Fletcher. He's out of the pits. He's on his mediums. He's going to be pushing hard. Big Easy in 8th. Alternate fuel strategy for himself. Andrew HRT coming out of the pits now in 9th place. Some work to do to get himself up the grid. We've got Liddell in 10th. Chasing him down. Legendary Berry now making his way around, full tank of fuel on the mediums. And our race leader, Mazda, has finally made his way into the pits. He's coasted in there with 0% fuel. So, has he lost a little bit of time making his way to the pits, or did he lose it right as he came down? We'll have to wait and see. With a monumental gap like that, you'd almost expect him to come out still in first, but that refuel rate is very, very slow. Now, if you keep a look on the map in the top right, we can see our second place, Spark. He's now making his way across the start-finish line. He's probably got another 2 or 3 laps worth of fuel in that car before he'll be in. So there's going to be a little bit of a game of leapfrog. Spark now taking the lead for the first time in this race. We're on lap 14, 27 minutes into the 50-minute enduro race. Mazda filling up the fuel. We can see he's just about hit 95%. Oh, he's going to come out at 94. Okay, so he hasn't done a full fuel. Mazda only reckons he needs 94% fuel to finish this race. He's going to come out in second place still, as we see the rest of the drivers now all hitting the pits. Mazda on the racing hards. He's going to have to really push that car. He will definitely pass Spark once he has that pit moment in the next couple of laps. As we continue down through our grid, we've got Juzzy making his way down pit lane. They ripped the tyres off the Magnetman car. He's going to be passed by Rudsey while he's in the pits. So Rudsey on the hards with enough fuel to get to the end. Hammer coming out of the pits now, followed very closely by Fletcher. Okay, so Fletcher's tyres are warmed up. He gets around the outside of Hammer. Okay, what a move. Fletcher's on a bit of a run. Those mediums doing him well, making all of the available track there, as we see a little bit of a battle happening in the background between Hammer and Big Easy also. Big Easy. Remember, he had the alternate fuel strategy for himself, so we'll see him come in again and possibly grab some softs. We'll have to wait and see how it all pans out, but now he is all over the back hammer. Oh, as we see Big Easy just run it ever so slightly wide there behind Hammer coming through that corner. He's dropped off a couple of tenths of seconds there, and he gets a better entry into the corner. We'll have to wait and see how his exit is. Absolutely gunning it down behind Hammer. So he's going to be using that slipstream to catch up as we continue down the grid. Andrew HRT in 7th. Now Liddell is asking the question as their tyre changes have swapped. We see a bit of flashing of the lights there. So Andrew HRT now on the hards, Liddell on the mediums, the shoes on the other foot. The battle continues. Oh no! Liddell putting all that pressure on Andrew HRT and then just running it ever so slightly wide. That's going to really hinder his run down the main straight. Rick in ninth having a fantastic drive, making his way around onto the back straight. He's being chased down by Juzzy. Juzzy, of course, on the racing hards. I think he's probably putting in a bit too much fuel. Full tank there. We're 30 minutes into the 50-minute race, so 20 minutes remaining. Might have overfueled a little bit, but someone who hasn't is Spark. He hasn't pit yet. So, the race mediums having a fantastic run on them so far. Really stretching it out. We see a fantastic line there from Spark. Still maintaining the lead, but we will see him come in as we jump back down to Mazda now, who's going to be doing the same corner. Of course, he's on the hards in comparison to the mediums. But one of the fastest drivers we've ever seen, that's for sure, as Mazda makes his way down the back straight. See, actually, we just saw a little bit of a short shift there from Mazda too. So remember, he didn't put in the full amount of fuel. So he might be doing a little bit of a short shift there to try and maintain a bit of fuel. We see our race leader Spark into the pitch with 1% fuel. We're on board with Rudzy right now in the Nissan for Leadfoot Racing. As he makes his way around the corner, he's going to be chased down by Fletch. Now Fletch with the racing mediums. Still got about 3/4 of the tank of fuel on that Nissan. That'll see him to the end quite comfortably. He's going to really want to push. We go down through the field, Big Easy. We're in passenger cam. You can see a lot of yellow there. That's because the car behind him is lighting it up from the inside. And that's Hammer chasing him down the back straight. And the Aston Martin coasting the corner as we change back to circuit cam. Liddell making his way down the straight, followed very closely by Andrew HRT. So he's managed to get the move done. He's jumped Andrew HRT in that lap. Out in front now, Andrew HRT on the racing hards as they make their way around the last couple of corners. Flame shooting out that little Peugeot. Looking absolutely fantastic tonight. Okay, Rick now under pressure from Juzzy. Lighting up those disc brakes, watching them absolutely glow gold as we come down to the final. Oh, hang on. The move might be on here. Juzzy's got it right underneath the wing of Rick in that move. Merc, of course, a lot of power on the straight, so he's managed to keep himself safe for now. But how much longer can he hold off Juzzy? Juzzy looks to be really putting on the pressure. Hasn't been able to make the move stick yet. We continue down the grid. Legendary Berry there in 11th place, rounding out the order for us at the moment. Plenty of racing to go. We're 33 minutes into this 50-minute enduro. Our race leader comfortably out in front, Mazda. After that pit stop, we've seen Spark still maintain second place, but there's a huge gap there from first to second. Spark now looking to be under a bit of pressure from the cars behind. Ruddsy is on the racing hards. We'll have to wait and see how that unfolds for him. Fletcher on the mediums, making plenty of ground every lap. So we'll have to wait and see how much longer Ruddsy can hold off Fletcher as we continue now on lap 16. We've got Big Easy followed by Hammer, making their way around the fast corner. It's a very, very high commitment zone, that one there. You've got to just barely lift and turn in and absolutely punch the car. As we continue down, Liddell making a bit of a gap now over Andrew HRT. That's the difference in the mediums. Oh, as we see a bit of a battle there going on. Legendary Barry looks to have just made the move on Rick, coming onto the back straight. We're going to have to wait and see how that affects them for the next couple of corners, as he doesn't seem to have the exact same pace down the straight as Rick, but Rick not able to quite get up the inside to make the move. 2 cars through there is absolutely terrifying, having them side by side, that's for sure. Oh, so we see Rick, slight contact on the back of Legendary Barry. They just haven't quite got their braking zones in sync there. Brake lights coming on maybe slightly early. And we jump back to our race leader. Well out in front. Fantastic race for himself. Plenty of fuel to get to the end. And hardly any wear on those hards so far. We've got 15 minutes remaining. Yet to see a mistake from Mazda as we see Spark in second place. Also on the race hards. So he's adopted the same strategy as Mazda. That Lexus absolutely flying. And here comes Fletch. Now, remember, he's on the race medium, so he's going to have a little bit more grip in the corners. So we'll have to wait and see if he's got enough time to make up the distance to Spark, as we see Ruddsy behind him on the racing hards, managing to stay with him as well. So hopefully he can stay in that slipstream and give himself a good opportunity. Why, he uses all the track, a little bit extra. He hasn't quite gone over the green bit with those inside tyres, so he hasn't copped himself a penalty. There's a lot of track forgiveness in that part of the track. We continue down our grid. Big Easy making his way into the pits now. Alternate strategy, so we'll see where he comes out. I would expect to see him jump onto the softs, but we'll wait and see what he decides to pick. He's used both compounds already. He's going to need to do a bit of a splash and dash to get the end, as we can see his fuel right down on the red. A slow refuel rate, isn't it? And he must be there itching, waiting, ready to go, but he doesn't want to short fuel it now because that's going to cost him big time at the end. I'll have to wait and see if anyone else still needs a pit stop and whether Big Easy can make a little bit more ground before the end of this race. Oh no, it looks like he's put a full tank of fuel in. Oh no, he's overfueled this thing by a mile. He is onto the racing softs, which will give him some more time, but there's only 22 minutes remaining. Doesn't need a full tank of fuel. Alright, we'll have to wait and see where he ends up now. Maybe a bit of miscommunication with the team. We jump back to our race leader, who's just behind him at the moment. He's just started lap 19. Big Easy, of course, just starting lap 18 on his way out of pits. So Mazda making his way around the track, seeing if he can get anyone on some lap traffic once again. Spark now under a bit more pressure from Fletcher. Fletcher's closing that gap. Spark though, considerable amount of fuel, just under 3/4 of a tank. Oh, as Fletcher almost makes the move up the inside. Very difficult spot of the track to do it. We see Spark coming into the pits now. Plenty of fuel for himself, so it's very interesting to see him come in. He might be swapping onto the softs to see if he can get a better run towards the end. Fletcher's probably going to have to stretch his fuel out just ever so slightly to make sure he makes it. We've got Rudzy, as we see Fletcher almost running it wide, but using all the track, managing to pull it in. Rudzy trying to chase him down on those race hards. And we've got Hammer in fourth, just over half a tank remaining. We've got 11 minutes to go. Plenty of racing to be had yet. It's a very interesting call from Spark to be jumping into the pits there. I thought he would have had enough fuel to get to the end and continue battling. So we'll have to wait and see where he finishes overall. Hammer having a good run. So he has swapped to the soft. There's Spark now, making his way past the Ferris wheel. So he hasn't grabbed any fuel, just tyres. So we're going to see if he can really put down some fast laps. He's got to catch back up to Fletcher. So from second to fifth. It's an interesting call from the team. We'll wait and see if it pays off. Liddell now, followed by Andrew HRT. These two are still battling. Andrew having a good run on the hards, really doing his best to keep up with that little Peugeot on the mediums. Oh, as we see him almost get too close in the corner there, really lighting up the disc brakes coming in. It's going to cost him some time on the exit on the way out, but he should be close enough to use that slipstream down the main straight and make up that time. As we continue down the grid, we've got Juzzy in eighth, making his way around. Plenty of fuel for himself, over half a tank. So he'll see himself at the end on those racing hards quite easily. As we jump back up to the action, Andrew HRT's managed to actually get that move done. I didn't think he was going to have enough in it on that back straight, but he's managed to jump Liddell on that back straight, which is a fantastic effort. We've got Juzzy in eighth, just behind them. He's going to really have to push that Ferrari if he wants to catch up to the two in front. You see legendary Berry followed by Rick in 10th. Big Easy, his alternate fuel strategy. I'm not sure if it's going to pay off. We've still got 9 minutes remaining of this race, so as we see a couple of cars maybe pit towards the end, he might be able to jump them. We'll have to wait and see as we go back to our race leader, well out in front now. Madster absolutely flying as he makes his way around the last couple of corners here on lap 20. Fletcher's now returned to second place after we've seen Spark pit earlier. He looks like he's opened a bit of a gap because Rudzy was giving him a bit of a challenge before, managing to hang on with the hards behind him. But now that those medium tyres have warmed up, Rudzy seems to just be absolutely driving away. Okay, so Fletcher having a fantastic run. Rudzy not able to hold on. Was having a great drive behind Fletcher before, but we can see now that he just doesn't quite have the pace on the race hards compared to the mediums. Hammer in fourth place, making his way around the speed corner. Makes you clench every time you go through it, that's for sure. Last couple of corners here for himself. He's followed by Spark. Spark's on the softs now, so he's going to be having a red hot crack and trying to chase him down as we go on board with Spark on those racing softs now. He's just on half a tank of fuel. Let's see how quick he can go because we've just seen a 2:01.698. Not quite the fastest lap, but we'll wait and see as we go quiet now and listen to that Lexus for a lap around Suzuka Circuit. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, what a lap to pick to go on board. Spark running purple and across the line with a 2:01.324. That's the new fastest lap of this race. He's sitting in 5th, really gunning down the back of Hamo as we continue down our grid. Andrew HRT in 6th, Liddell in 7th. So Andrew HRT now really opening in that gap. Juzzy in 8th, Legendary Berry in 9th place in the Beamer, Rick in 10th. And we've got Big Easy, who looks like he had just a bit of a moment there. Looks like he was coming back on from wide. We'll wait and see what happened there. But now he's under fire from our race leader. Is he going to get lapped? We'll have to wait and see. As Mazda makes his way around the final couple of parts of lap 22. Absolutely flying. Some very consistent times off to the right as we check. We'll jump down through the grid. We've got Fletcher in 2nd, having a fantastic run. He's managed to make his strategy work for him as well, starting on the hards, using the mediums at the end. Of course, the track was a bit warmer at the start. If we all remember, it was sunset. Those hards would have warmed up ever so slightly, and I think he had a fantastic run on them until he had his little moment with the spin, but it hasn't slowed him down at all. He's back into 2nd, Rudsy in 3rd on those racing hards now. Opposite strategy, started mediums, went hards. He's doing a fantastic job as well. Hasn't managed to quite stay in slipstream range though. We continue down the grid. Hammer now under fire from Spark. Spark with that fastest lap on the previous one. He's really making those softs work. Okay, so race is on. There's only 4 minutes remaining in it so far. Drag race down to the big fast corner. Who's going to get this in? Spark makes it work for him. He's going to run the car a bit high and wide, but he's managed to make it stick. Spark now up into 4th place. Wow. Andrew HRT making his way down the back straight. He's in 6th, well out in front now of Liddell. He's really opening that gap, so he's having a good run on those hards. Liddell pushing that little Peugeot, but something's not quite working for him. He's losing a bit of time. Might be trying to save a bit of fuel actually if we have a look at that fuel consumption, just quite under a quarter of a tank there. So he's just making sure he's got enough to get to the end. I'd say he might be doing a bit of short shifting as we continue down the field. Juzzy in 8th place. Plenty of fuel, plenty of tyres, and Legendary Berry in 9th. Hang on, cameraman's looking somewhere else. There he is, there's Rick. Okay, he's in 10th place and across the line with a 2:06. Some consistent times from himself off to the side, but not quite up to pace of some of the other drivers. As we see Big Easy making his way across the line now in 11th. And here's our race leader making his way right up behind him. Mazda, well out in front. Fletcher in 2nd. Now, hang on a second. He's very low on the fuel. Very low on the fuel. Okay, so the game is on. Rudsy's made up a bunch of ground. It looks like Fletcher might have been doing a bit of a fuel save on that lap. Rudsy's taken advantage of it, but he's low on fuel too. So both these Nissans very low towards the end. It'll be interesting to see if they manage to make it another lap. So we see Rudsy looking to take the outside line. They touch as they come into the corner, side by side, in the fastest part of the track. Absolutely wild. We see Rudsy lining up the brakes and the flames shooting out of the back of that Nissan. Fletcher having to concede it, side by side through 3 very technical corners of the track. None of them going off. So very, very clean racing between the pair. Fletcher now chasing Rudsy down. Don't know how much more he can put the foot down. As we see, we've only got 1 minute remaining. If they push too hard, they're going to end up doing another lap and they won't have enough fuel, and Spark will be able to jump them both. Okay, so game on. Spark in 4th, chasing down both Rudsy and Fletch, who might run out of fuel. Hammer in 5th. Whoa, as we see a bit of dust kicking up the side there. Nice, smooth and consistent Hammer, followed by Andrew HRT. Then we got Liddell there in 7th. He actually looks like he's made up a bit of ground, but he's quite low on the fuel too. Juzzy in 8th, making his way through. He's got plenty to get to the end. Legendary Berry also running it low. Alright, so game on. We'll have to wait and see if there's going to be enough fuel for all these drivers to make their way to the end, as we have just hit the 50-minute mark right now. Big Easy's just made his way through, so there won't be another lap. This will be the final. Madster running low on the fuel, followed by Rudzy. Sorry, Madster was also, he made it past. Madster's going to get one extra lap, but the rest won't. Rudzy now under a lot of pressure between Fletcher. He's managed to make it past him. Spark has too. Spark's on the softs, remember, ladies and gentlemen. So race is on. These three are having an absolute fantastic battle in the final couple of laps. Final couple of corners of the final lap. Alright, Rudzy's made the move on Fletch. Spark's got past him too. We've got 3 more corners to go. Alright, here we are. Rudzy. Oh no, both Sparks and Fletch run it wide. Rudzy's looking pretty safe. Spark on the softs almost gets it around him, but hasn't quite managed to happen. Fletcher's run himself wide. Okay, it's on and oh no! Rudzy's running out of fuel. Spark gets 2nd. Rudzy 3rd. Fletcher in 4th. What a race! Hammer in 5th. Across the line. Alright, wow, that was exciting. Exhilarating. Last couple of corners. We're looking at Andrew HRT now. He's running on fumes. Is he going to make it to the end? Alright, and across the line. He's just made it. Liddell's run out. Oh, we thought Andrew HRT was going to go short. Hang on, Juzzy's coming around. It's going to be a close finish. Oh! Juzzy's just got it past. Juzzy's just beat Liddell, and here comes Legendary Berry around the last couple of corners here in 9th place. Wow, what a couple of finishes we've seen so far. Okay, Legendary Berry, 9th place. Rick now making his way around the final corner. He's going to get 10th. And it's a bit of a battle behind. Oh, it's Big Easy. Big Easy and Mazda, a race leader, across the line together. Mazda taking the win. Big Easy filling out 11th place. Wow, what a race, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check in next time. Wow, that was exciting.